Okay, we are about to begin the meeting. We'll start with a prayer, so please rise. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food, supply and multiply the seed you have sown and increase the fruits of your righteousness, while you are enriched in everything for all liberality, which causes thanksgiving through us to God. For the administration of this service not only supplies the needs of the saints, but also is abounding through many thanksgivings to God. While through the proof of this ministry, they glorify God for the obedience of your confession of the gospel of Christ, and for your liberal sharing with them and all men, and by their prayer for you, who long for you because of the exceeding grace of God in you. Thanks be to God for his indescribable gift. Amen. Okay, we usually begin the meeting asking for a chair to run this particular meeting. And if there are any suggestions, anybody that will nominate somebody to come up for the chair, please raise your hand. Yes. Who? John Mendes. Where's John Mendes?
Also, if anyone is interested, please stand up.
John, yes. Any other nominations?
Anyone else interested?
Any other nominations?
Chris Veros?
Evangelia Saturday.
Say that again?
Evangelia.
That's to be a chairman only for this meeting.
This is the chair
Yeah,
that's
No, we're nominating for the seat here.
to run the meeting.
Okay. Ms. Evangelia.
So we have 1, 2.
Okay.
We've got 3.
I respectfully turned that down because I have to leave early, but thank you very much.
Okay. Any other nominations?
So do we have a second for
1, 2, 3. John, please come up.
No, we have Chris too.
Chris too interested.
We have Chris.
Oh, you nominated? Somebody nominated Chris?
He offered.
Oh, you offered?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hands up for John. Who wants John?
I'm ready. Okay, for John first, please raise your hand. Chris, the chair to run this meeting here. We have John Mondes to run the chair here, to sit now and run this meeting.
No, this isn't for elections, nominees. This is to run the meeting.
To run the meeting. This is an election to run this meeting now. John. 1, 2, 3. Anybody for Chris?
The only thing I care about.
Chris, please come up.
Both of them. I want to go there.
minutes of the previous meeting?
They're here. They need to be read, so I can read them.
Okay.
Yes, it should be read.
Let's see how many, hold on, let's see how many people we have.
We have 40 people?
We have four.
Number four.
Okay, so the last General Assembly meeting was May 19th of 2019. Michael Sandor was nominated by Nikki Michaelidis to chair the meeting. As there were no other nominations, he was elected unanimously. Michael Sandor called the meeting to order at 11:44 a.m. Opening prayer was by Father Chris. Roll call present was Anthony Danis, Father Chris, Ann Sandor, Janita Kearns, Christina Sargent, Aspasia Panayi, Chris Pavlidis, Gary Schmoger, Kathy Streisko, Luana Veludos. Absent was Jacob Tuwil, Anthony Vigos, and Ramsey Tuwil. The General Assembly agenda minutes of November 18th, 2018, General Assembly and the January, February Treasurer's Report were available at the meeting. Minutes were read by Ann on November 18th, 2018, read the November 18th, 2018 minutes. Motion to accept as read was Laura Veros, and second by Maria Orfanos. Vote was passed unanimously. Yes, there were 25 yes, 0 no's, no abstentions to accepting the minutes. Treasurer's report. Ann presented the January, February Treasurer's report. Motion to accept as read was accepted by Lucille Callis and second by George Mofetis. Vote was passed unanimously. 23 yes, 0 no's, 0 abstentions. The President's report. Tony Danis noticed that Jacob Tuwil was very sorry he could not be present because he was attending his daughter's graduation, and that in lieu of the President's report, the time would be used for festival business. Tony Danis noted that raffles had been sent out, volunteers were needed to help with cooking, setup, etc. Nikki Michaelidis asked what changes HEPA plan on making for the festival. Tony Dean made clear that the HEPA was not running the festival as individuals. He was asked who told her that she said that they did. Tony Danis explained that they were not participating as a group, but as individuals, and that she might have gotten that idea because the HEPA ran the mini festival. Tony Danis noted the festival requires input from the entire church community and made it clear that it was a church festival. He also reported that Christina was bringing in cashier tablets, that there would be 2, and that they would now also be able to have 2 cashiers at the gyro station during the festival. Nikki noted that they always had 2. Tony Danis acknowledged that perhaps it was the time of day and he had not been aware of that. Going forward, at the festival this year, however, there would be 2 cashiers at the gyro station. George Mofetis wanted to know if there were enough people volunteering, otherwise not to do it. Father said the call for help went out and they would also need help baking. Several parishioners volunteered. Discussion also ensued about putting the location of the church on the signs. Discussion ensued about putting the locations of the signs on Goshen Turnpike. Chris Pavlidis' wife asked whether they would at least get the church name on it, since there were several church festivals in the region that weekend. Tony Danis noted that they would get together and at some point discuss redesigning the signs going forward in the future. Committee reports. Building. Mike Sandor reported for the building committee. He reported that the lease has been signed. The committee met 3 times and that they were keeping track of things going forward. The leak on the dome has been addressed and the repairs completed. The permit for the bump out has been obtained and work will be starting soon. Leaks in the elevator room need to be addressed. Mike also went over a review of cost of operations in relation to renting out space in the church at $10 a square foot. Denise Tetz asked what about the hall and its rental, and Mike noted that was being addressed. Fundraiser. Christina presented the report on the parish council's approval of proceeding with Amazon Smiles and the shoe drive. She also noted that the church of this size could earn up to $9,000 per year on the shoe drive alone. Audit committee report. And asked for 2 volunteers to serve on the audit committee with at least 1 member in the accounting profession. No one came forward. Chris Pavlidis asked why the church does not have an outside audit, since we have heard nothing from the last 2 to tell us how we are doing. Michael Sandor responded that there were suggestions from previous audits and that they were acted upon. Nominating committee. Laura Varos made the call for the formation of a nominating committee for upcoming vacancies in the next year. They will attend a meeting to be oriented to what is involved. Priest's report, Great Lent and Easter, Father Chris noted, brought everyone together, and for that he thanked everyone. Stewardship was experiencing its best year, even with families who were moving away. Father noted that he was proud of everyone and appreciates all that the parish does. Old business, there was none. New business. Brian Mitchell noted that until the day of the General Assembly, he did not know the names of the new officers and wondered if their names could not be on the bulletin. Brian then questioned why the secretary and treasurer were the same person, Ann Sander, and he noted that it is not fair for her to be doing both jobs. Father Chris noted that it is not in violation of regulations and agreed it would be 1 person for each position, and explained how the first meeting of this year she accepted a nomination for and was elected secretary. And when it came to fill the treasurer's slot, no other members of the parish council were willing. Specific members were asked, according to Ann, particularly those who have questioned how church finances are handled, both of whom declined. Ann then noted that anyone else in the parish who wishes to understand how the church finances work or have any questions can step up and offer to serve on the parish council as treasurer or join the audit committee. She also noted an issue people keep raising about church finances, where monies are allocated and how they are spent or deposited, with no credible evidence, or continually asking for an independent audit with no justification, and yet no one is willing to step up and examine the church records. Ann said she will continue to serve on this capacity on a temporary basis until someone is willing to step up and do the job. Chris Pavlidis also asked how the festival money will be held. The church is experiencing a shortage of money, and he wanted to know how the money was going to be counted and would it be going into the operating account. Tony Dennis noticed that it would be tallied and there would be signatures and it would be deposited that same night. Tony Dennis was currently trying to figure out how to collect the money during the day. Janita suggested that they would hand out envelopes. Tony Dennis said he doesn't have a solution yet and will need 2 people to count the money, and he was hoping to have a count at the end of the lunch rush hour and at the end of the day. But he was not sure yet how that would take place, and noted that he would need the names prior to the set times for the collection and counting of the money. Mike Sanders suggested that the parish council discuss this. Chris Pavlidis noted that by the second tent area, there is water in the back and the materials are there, and if they can get a wheelbarrow and spread the materials out, it will help with the wetness. He was informed that this was discussed at the last parish council meeting. The meeting concluded with a closing prayer. Anybody have any questions on these minutes, just to reiterate or go over to clarify what are in here? Okay, then if
Should I
not,
have a motion to accept the minutes as stated?
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second? All in favor? All against? Any abstentions?
Wasn't there.
Okay. Then the minutes are passed as stated. We have the treasurer's report.
Okay, so everyone has a packet, there's extra copies up here. The stapled packet is, just know the financials are reported as of the most current month, which is month end as of October, with a comparison to a full year end of last year, 2020. So you have a comparison of 10 months this year to 12 months the prior year. So the first page is our account balances. So as of October, we have available in our accounts approximately $37,000. Compared to last year, we had $57,000. In addition to our account balance during COVID, we had applied for an SBA loan through the federal government, and they had allowed us with a $10,000 loan just to hold us over until this whole COVID blows over. So this loan is for 30 years at a rate of, I think, 1.5%. It was very low interest rate. We will begin paying this back December of this year. They gave us a 1-year grace period from the time we took the loan out, and it approximates to $43 a month for over 30 years. Any questions right now on the first page? So comparatively, from a full 12 months to a 10-month this year, we're down approximately $20,000 in our account. And of that 20, of course, includes that 10,000 that was given to us through the federal government. Any questions on the first page or clarifications that anyone needs? There you go.
Yeah, I just would like to make a comment that Father probably will elaborate. Father will probably elaborate more on it, which is basically this month and next month we will have a lot of influx of funding, because that's when stewardship will start making the commitment and many people will pay and so on and so forth. So although we show deficit between our accounts at this time, end of October, versus the end of December, we expect quite a bit of money to come in, and Father, like I said, will elaborate on it. So it's not very broad picture, I don't believe yet.
So also know that we have a total of $37,000 in the operating account, and we include the liability of the $10,000 loan as at this point, if we wanted to pay it off today, our liquid availability in operating is approximately $27,000. So the second page is our cash flow. So it shows the income, again comparatively, 10 months October of this year to 12 months of last year. So in total, as of October, the church has taken in approximately $120,000 compared to 12 months last year, a full year of $222,000. Last year for COVID, the parishioners were exceptional. They stepped up and carried this church because we didn't even have the festival. And that in itself, I would like to thank those parishioners, everybody who just stepped up to the plate and gave more than they usually do to help this church continue. So again, thank you everybody. You're amazing, because we didn't even ask for it and it just kept on coming willingly. So I'm very proud of this parish. So just comparatively where we are now compared to last year, we're down of $100,000 approximately. And realistically, that would have been our festival. because our festival usually generates about $90,000 to $95,000 gross before any expenses every year. So, and the other thing that really helped us come through is leasing the basement to the school. That has been a godsend, and that during this time has really, really helped us get through this difficult time. So, any questions on this income report?
Ms. Mullen, for 2020, there should be a line item for the Easter luminaries. They were done in 2020, as well as in 2021.
It's possible that that probably had gone into the building fund, but I could double check. Do you recall what the amount was for
I mean, it's
2020?
probably pretty equivalent to what we have this year. It might be a little less, but I don't remember. I could probably take a figure.
Let's see
Probably
if
have
it's
that down
on.
in the record somewhere, but we did do that in 2020 as well as in 2021. And it's not noted here.
Yeah, it's possible it's in the building fund under donations, but I can take a look.
Okay.
She's the mention.
I mean, it could be an Easter donation, so.
It could be, 2020, I would have to go through the records and see that deposit. So we can check on that. Any other questions on the income page?
I guess I'll make a comment. Just, the one question is, again, with the SBA loan, you have a $10,000 and it's $11,000 inflow in 2020.
Yes,
The one-
the extra $1,000 was the PPP for payroll that the government gives you gratis. So we were
Okay, forget it.
eligible and they gave us $1,000, which we do not have to pay, which we applied for. Thank you.
And then based on looking at the stewardship, the projection, this committee is comfortable with about a $90,000 inflow in projection in November and December.
Well, I think that'll come in the priest report when he tells us what stewardship is, so we'll be able to see what's been pledged for 2021. So we'll be able to determine that.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay, the next page is our expenses comparatively. So as of October 2021, our outflows were $140,000 compared to 2020, the full year was $172,000 approximately. So it was a decline, we spent less, approximately $31,000 less. Do we have any questions on the expenses?
Again, the year is not over, the expenses might
Correct. We
go higher
still
and
have
catch
2
up.
months?
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So those 2 months on average, we average our general expenses, regular expenses, if they're not extraordinary, on an average of $12,000 to $15,000 a month. So you can expect another 30 for total for November and December, so we would be pretty much right in line as the prior year.
Why can't we get a listing of a whole year? Can't we do from October to October? We never seem to see anything for November and December.
We can, but that wouldn't be true. I mean, we can.
So
If
you're
that's
saying-
what everybody, they want an LTM.
So you're saying you want to see October versus October?
We
No,
never
they want to
see-
see 12 months. They want an LTM of October compared to December 20th of 2020.
We never
But
see anything for November and December. Every year we've asked
December
this
to
question.
December.
And I know our fiscal year is the end of the year, right?
We could do that. We could do an LTM, 12 months, that's 12 months.
I mean, I would say that you are seeing 12 months as of December 31st, December 2020. I think the counterpoint would be that I would like to see October 31st, 2020 versus 2021 to compare apples to apples versus apples to 10 months versus 12 months. I think that would be the criticism that you can make.
One thing is, what we're required to do by the Archdiocese is at every parish council meeting is give the prior year results. So that's all we're required to report. I bring into the report currently so everyone can see where we are now. What we can do realistically, if we did October to October, just so you know, it wouldn't be realistic to December's 12 months because now you're capturing the last 2 months of every year, which is stewardship. And that's where we get the influx of stewardship. So I don't know how accurate it would be, but we could do that too if you prefer.
I mean, I think you could have October 21, October 2020, then have December as the third line.
I think that would be more realistic. We could do that for the next meeting. That's fine.
You have a question?
Yes. Clergy benefits.
I didn't hear that?
Clergy benefits.
Those are what we're required to pay to the archdiocese. They're benefits that they provide for the priests, just like our archdiocese commitment. We're required to pay that every single month, so it's not something we choose to pay. It's required. It's dictated by the archdiocese.
I'm assuming those benefits should be insurance, like have a separate line for insurance, health, insurance liability, an additional $7,000.
It is, but I think the issue was Father switched and went ahead and got his own insurance privately because it was half the cost of what was being charged, I guess. The clergy benefits does not cover his insurance. In addition, we would have to take insurance through the archdiocese in addition to that benefit. That clergy benefit is more for the laity, isn't it, every year? That they charge. It's more to cover the laity that they have every year, not so much giving him benefits. So they had additional benefits through the archdiocese, which was almost double, if not triple, was costing us many years ago. And Father went ahead, did his research, and took his own insurance, went out and did it on his own to save us that cost.
Is that in the bylaws? Do the people here have a set of the bylaws that there is a book that states all the bylaws of what's supposed to be done?
I know in the prior years,
I mean,
they
I can
used to be,
volunteer to pay the cost of the bylaws for every parishioner to have one. If we can print them. I have a whole set.
Absolutely, we can give them out, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. And one more, a couple more questions if you don't mind.
Would you give it a mic? I can't understand.
I'm sorry. This meeting is like, I can't look at that.
Do I talk loud enough? Everybody can hear me? Okay, now I guess you can hear me.
Thank you.
Payroll, and then we have secretary separate. And another one that I've seen, secretaries run some money, and payroll, isn't the secretary's payroll should be included in the payroll?
Payroll is strictly identified for Father Chris, the priest's payroll. So we just separately line item it, so it's not one bulk number in total. That way everyone can see the breakout.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, so we can go on to. Yes,
I have a question,
Would you come up with the mic? With the mic?
this is how Rockhill detention.
The detention pond, I was just wondering what that was about.
These were fees that we were required to pay to the town for their inspection to come and just inspect every time we come as we were working on it to get the CO. So we have no control over that, right?
We'll address that. We'll address it with the building department.
Social Security is the employer's portion of Social Security tax that we need to pay for payroll. So that's what that is. When payroll, you have your own FICA and Medicare, that's withheld from your payroll check. In addition, the employer is entitled and is required to match that matching payment. And that's what that is.
Is this the match or is this all?
The 12 months is all of it. We still have 2 more months. What we do is we pay it in monthly increments.
Yeah, right.
So we don't have to hit all at once. Anyone else? Questions?
The telephone. Does the church have that much expense on the telephone?
That's the internet, yeah. Telephone and internet. We have lines for the fire alarm, lines for the elevator alarm. We have for the sprinkler system, we have the office, we have a fax, and we have internet, so yes. It's about $300 a month. Yep. Any other questions? All right, we
Can
could
I have a
go,
motion to approve it?
we have to go over the last page, the building fund. So the last page is the building fund, and again, the same type of setup. For the 10 months, we've taken in $75,000 compared to 2020 of $27,000. That's an increase of $48,000, primarily being that in October, we got the proceeds from the insurance claim for the water damage that we had in the basement. In addition to this, due to us still, once we get all the open items completed from the town, they are holding a bond that we paid to them of $16,000. That is due to us, and once those items are completed, that will come back to us. That's not reflected in the income in this report. So that's an additional that we would have. Those were the bank account balances, not the income. So our balances as of October were approximately 75 compared to last year was 27,000. Yes.
Again, the $75,000 there that you see, the $72,000, we have to pay still for remediation work that took place out of this money. In other words, we did get the insurance money, now we have to pay out of it. So this $75,000 is not going to stay like that. We have to pay some of it out to contractors who did the remediation. Basically, it's billed for, and for basically removing any items that were damaged due to the flood, and make sure that there is no mold developing and so on and so forth. So some of this money is going to be paid out.
Where's that figure?
I'm sorry?
Where is that figure?
It's going to be deducted out of the $72,000.
Yeah, it hasn't been paid yet. They have billed us a little over $30,000. So we're looking to meet with them this week to discuss the bill and go over it with them.
So that's not reflected in this budget
Nope,
right now?
because it hasn't
So
been
what kind
paid
of expense we're gonna have for the funding downstairs?
Yes.
We just have the income that came in from the insurance reimbursement?
Correct.
Okay.
We don't know that was my question, because we don't know the global bill.
We do. We've received the bill of a little over $30,000, but we're meeting with them to review the bill and final approval of the bill. So.
And we'll discuss all that later under the building committee, because the expense, I mean, they gave us an estimate of $100,000 almost to repair.
125.
125 to repair all the damage that was done, because they had to remove wall boards, they had to remove plumbing, they had to remove carpet, they had to remove everything. And really, Father Chris, he stepped up and he got some volunteers to do it almost for free. So the $125,000, it was done by donation from people that he knew, and we only paid minor issues for plumbing fixtures and replacing, say, the carpet downstairs with tile. So God forbid, if we ever have flooding again, we're not going to have the situation again of losing the rug or the carpet. So we spend about maybe $6,000.
Yeah, that looks like if you.
$7,000, give or take. We'll get through that later, but that's from 125 down to $7,000.
Does it have to be inspected now that it's been fixed? Does it have to be, is there an inspection that has to be done because of the water damage that was down here at school?
Ask him if the work that's been done needs to be inspected, and I would.
Yes, and it already was inspected. They have their, to get their CO downstairs, they have their inspectors that came in and approved it.
Your question is about inspecting due to the water damage.
Right.
Okay, so inspection, there's no way that we know of to test for it, because what they've done is the remediation company, it's a national company, Bilford. They came in, they put their specialized equipment in there to dry the place, to remove any potential mold from the air. Any mold spores will be removed, clean cleaned out, so they have certified that they have done the work needed. Now, once they leave, it's a problem, because if you test for mold, say, why don't we test for mold? Mold is everywhere. You go outside, you take a sample of the air, you'll see mold in there. You come inside, sometimes the inside percentage of mold is less than the outside. So it's a very tricky situation. So all they do and certify is, we've done what we'll have to do to dry up the place, to remove any mold pores from the air, and remove any potentially impact areas with the wetness out. And that's all the guarantee we have.
Right, I understand.
Yeah. In other words, God forbid, now there could be some leak happening right now, and there could be some mold developing. It's not the case, but I'm trying to make a point here. It's just more than it's an ongoing thing. You have to keep looking for it.
Just wanted to make sure that work was certified.
Yeah, it's a national company. The certification they provided is they've done what they're supposed to do per the regulations, to clean up the place, remove any affected areas, and that's the end of it. We internally went back and forth, and we couldn't get anything more than, they said you can go ahead and test for mold. So what are you going to test for mold? Outside there is mold. I've been through that in my own, other life all the time.
Okay, so are there any more questions on the equipment portion? The equipment that came into the building fund is approximately $70,000 compared to 14 and change the prior year. That's an increase of $55,000. As far as expenses out of the building fund, there were approximately $21,000 coming out of this year versus $33,000 in the prior year. Mainly the differences probably last year we were doing the bump outs, so you can see the costs for those. Any questions on what you're seeing on the building fund? Going once? Twice? Okay, so then I am done. Thank you.
Now can I have a motion to approve? Are there any questions on any of the report? Seeing no questions, then I would like to see a motion to approve the treasurer's report as stated. Second? Let's move on to the president's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
All right, I'm gonna take my mask off here, so I'll step back. So thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. Appreciate also all the support you're giving our church. We had obviously rough couple of years with the COVID and the church almost being shut down, and not having too much activities here for some time. And we thank you, parishioners, most of you, all of you, for the support that you've given, and for staying home, watching it on TV or through the internet, Facebook, or however you watch it, YouTube. So we appreciate that very much. You continue. Father Chris was reporting all the time that he's very thrilled that you guys continue to support, send money in, and we're extremely grateful. That's how, by the grace of God and by your support, that's how we survived. We made it through the parish council, continued to work together, not necessarily agreeing on everything, but, discussing, arguing. At the end of the day, we have our heart behind the church. We all work together, and we did manage to push the church through these trying times, truly trying times. And many businesses went out of business, many people failed, and again, by the grace of God and your help, we managed to pull through. Also, something that very important that came in, and it was very timely for us, which is renting the ground floor, the first floor in there. I remember since the beginning of the design of this expansion, decades ago, The plan was, we knew that this expansion is going to cost, it's going to cost us some expenditure, and we knew that we're not going to be able to just fund it by ourselves. The plan was from day one to rent and to generate revenue from the expansion that we are doing. Part of it is renting downstairs, which is what we have done, and really the rental, the annual income we're making from the rental, luckily it made up for the usually what we make during the festival, the annual festival. So it was a blessing for us. It came in very timely. We had some, that's one major accomplishment, I think, our entire parish council and all of you guys supporting the parish council and supporting the church can be proud of. We have an ongoing income now of about minimum $30,000 a year coming to us to fund our expenditure. That's, I'm sorry? Well, you take out the utilities and all that stuff, which is still, so net income to us is just about $30,000 and hopefully more. And, but we're still trying to pin down the expenditure, like Esposito was saying, the expenditure for the utilities, gas, and we're going to find other ways. But we're pinning it down so far from what we have seen. We're making just over $30,000 annual income, which is tremendous. That's how much we make with the annual festival. Our income is about 30, 40, 50, right, Esposito? The income from the festival. 30, 40,000. Yeah.
That is about approximately 40,000.
Yeah, 40,000. So the rent is making, yes. So next year, we already, as Esposito and Tony, we already have the tents reserved. We're looking forward to generate our festival, the Green Festival coming back, generating more income for our church. And with your help and support, we're looking forward to a very, very, very good year next year with the rental and the other incomes that we make. Also, the CO, the certificate of occupancy in there from the town. The town was giving us very hard time to give us the certificate of occupancy, CO, we call it. And that's because the drainage and the detention pond and all that stuff, there was a lot of work that was not done on the outside, nothing on the inside. Inside, everything is safe, everything is certified. On the outside, that was a big issue, and the town was giving us a hard time. So we kept going back and forth with the town. Finally, we got the CO. So now we have permanent CO for this building. The tenant downstairs, she can go ahead and obtain her licensing from the state. She was under a lot of pressure, and she held back payment and so on and so forth. Now she made up all the payment that she held back, and because she's going to be certified by the state of New York, because we have CO, final CO, complete CO for the downstairs. As Lucia, she touched on the about $16,000 that the town is holding from us, and that's for some punch list items. They will not release until we finish them. Some of them is finding a catch basin, basically buried in the parking lot, which is minor, but most importantly is striping the parking lot. Striping in the parking lot, we don't want to waste our money. We would like to pave it because, as you can see, it's in very bad shape. It needs to be milled and paved and repaired. And so these are basically the two items that we owe the town, and hopefully Father Chris is working on some donation, and we'll see where we go from there. But we do need to pave that parking lot, whatever we have to do. Obviously, we need to save some money again, because now the building itself is going to start, it's going to require more maintenance. So please keep that in mind, whether I'm still around or somebody else takes over. I just want to put that in your ear. Save some money, because we're going to have to spend some money, start spending some money for specialized work for maintaining the building. With that, I would like to call out 3 people only, because they've done a tremendous amount of work for us, for the church, to make sure that we get the CO. And first one is George. He's not here today. He's away. But George, he did a tremendous amount of work by himself in his own machines. Many of us in the parish council supported him, helped him out, but he was a tremendous help. I owe him a lot of thanks for George. Manny, the electrician, he's done a tremendous amount of work. I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars Manny, and without charging the church. He's always been there for us whenever we need anything. So Manny, he's not here today. He apologizes, by the way. Anna is not here from the parish council. Gary is not here, and Manny is not here. And they apologize for not being here. They're out of town, most of them. And and the third one, which is Mike Sander. Mike Sander, he did all the engineering work. He did all the communication with the town. He was all the time on top of it, supported by his engineer Brad, who's also parishioner. And for those, Mike and Brad, again, debt of gratitude for those guys. So George, Manny, and Mike did tremendous work. Thank you. A lot of other people worked. I'm not going to mention them, including people in the parish council. Tony Dennis in there, he did a couple of mini festivals in there to generate revenue. He did a tremendous amount of work, and again, from support and help from the very small number of usual suspects, helping him out in his endeavor to generate some revenue. So I urge everyone to step up, please. Help your church. You've been helping. We're very grateful. But help with work too. Help us out with that. That would be a tremendous effort. And with that, I'm very proud of each and every one of you guys. I'm proud of this parish council, Father Chris, and his spiritual leadership for us, and all the amount of money that he's been able to save us, especially with the recent, throughout the years, but most importantly with the last damage of about $100,000 that were saved just because of his effort. Otherwise, we would have been broke. The insurance company, they said your limit is $50,000. That's all you're going to get, which is ridiculous, but that's where we are. This is the card that we were dealt, and we had to deal with it and manage, and we did, and we went through it, and thank God for them. So I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
Jacob? I know you don't want to thank too many people, but this may be the first time some people are even seeing them. I think we should thank Christine and Ignacio for these curtains.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Not just me, Denise Pets, she's the one, I did the work, Denise Pets.
All right, thank you to both of you.
You know, and,
tremendous.
so we appreciate that, and I still see I have to fix something over there.
Yeah, tremendous. I mean, Denise also, she donates a lot of stuff
She
to us. Besides, that's why I don't mention a lot of people, but thank you so much.
And Aspas got us a good price too, so thank you for that as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank Kathy Streisfeld for putting on the video for church. Because without her, we would not, during COVID, we would not have church. Every Sunday, and even the holiday, she comes from Fort Jervis, even farther, Sparksboro, and that's far, and that should be appreciated, really. Thank you.
Tremendous, especially in the time of COVID, when nobody's coming, and they were coming on broadcast, and everybody's watching the service from home.
There are still people watching it from home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And out of state, too, they're out of the country, we've got people in Greece, India, that are looking at the videos and going to church in India. I mean, come on, that's something. So, yeah, Kathy.
Yeah, a lot of people are carrying this church over their shoulders, basically, to make it pull through. Absolutely, a lot of people. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we start with the committee reports? The building committee?
I think that I just went through that.
Yeah.
The fundraising committee?
Despina here? Not here? Well, if I may speak with fundraising, I mentioned in the church. I mentioned in the church that Despina, again, we go through individuals, and there are many individuals here that really are exceptional and go beyond, rather than all this false statements and things that some people make. But anyway, yeah, very legitimate, and I would speak for Despina in that respect, how much with fundraising. Now, she's doing a Vasilopita. She does a Christmas, we're not doing Christmas pastries this year, but she's doing that. Throughout the year, she does about 3 or 4 different fundraising. which nobody knows about, and yes, it adds to the treasury, and so I would commend her as well. So fundraising, just to say that we're doing the fundraising, and as Sebastian looked at our drive that we're having this year. And I would suggest that next year that's what the parish council should be more concerned with, in how to keep the church solvent. And we have good parish council. We've been doing it in that way. However, hands-on kind of thing, of course, with the mini festival and everybody else helping is good. But we need to have more ideas. What more can we do? And I always say, without burdening ourselves with it, somehow go beyond ourselves and to raise money. Not that we're going to every month come to you and say, donate this and donate this and donate that. Personally, I don't like that way of doing business, but whatever. So that's why Parish Council has to use its own initiative and come up with things. And I feel pretty confident for 2022.
Yeah, so just to let you know what we did as far as fundraisers, as you can see, the supplemental income this year, we had Minifest, which turned out to be did very well considering under these times, with COVID and what we're up against with the restrictions. But also we did the yard sale, which we said, well, since we're not utilizing this space, it would be a good idea to just have a yard sale set up here, have the stuff just stay here so we're not moving it like we did for the festival. And it actually turned out to be somewhat of a success. We generated $4,500, just barely, 100% free money from people just donating your things, what you no longer use. So hopefully we'll continue that now at the festival. But also while we were doing this, we sold pastries, and we wanted to again thank the ladies, Orthodox, and all the ladies who helped and baked, and and also we also had bought baklava because we couldn't have that made. We bought it, but that also helped to generate, and supplement whatever we could. So, the key is everybody needs to band together, come up with great new ideas, and if we all work together, we could support the church. And that's the key, just to remember.
Thank you ever so much. Folks, I would like to thank absolutely everybody that helped with the mini-fest and also that little drive-through Eurofest we had during the height of the pandemic. We absolutely did marvelously well. Thank you all ever so much. It was interesting. The mini-fest this year, I'm very excited. It was a combination of the usual folks that volunteer, plus a good number of new people that stepped forward, which was very, very greatly appreciated. I'd also especially like to thank George and Trini for their use of their tent. They always do that for us, which is wonderful. And this was the first year for both of those two things where we had no expenses whatsoever, because Spiro Mandas was kind enough to donate all of the produce and Eurocones and fries and tzatziki and everything else, and we also got donations. Miss Monticello Diner provided us with spanakopita free of charge, and the beer, I'm sorry, not beer, there was beer, but that was for the kitchen. The water, the soda, propane, baklava, and a few other items were also donated. So there was absolutely no expense. It was 100% profit. Thank you guys ever so much, and I'm starting to make preparations for next year's festival, and I'm cautiously optimistic. Unless this pandemic takes a turn for the worse, that we'll be able to do it like we always would. And thank you again.
Yeah, that's me. Report on the stewardship for this year so far. We have 130 families, and I counted it down. I think it's 130 families, 248 members. So So some churches count by members and some count by families, but we usually count by families. 130 families are stewards this year. Of that, what was pledged so far was $92,210. Paid up to date is $70,924, and which a balance of $20,000. So again, we're still waiting for the end period of that. We still have the end of half November and December, and generally we do get at the average every year. We haven't reached 100,000 yet. We go from 96 to 92, 91, something like that. So, and I expect that we will go to that figure in the 90s. Of those who are 1,000 stewards, we have 42 of you that are 1,000 stewards. In other words, you give $1,000 or more. And that's where the bulk of the money is. And I'm not putting everybody, if you can't do it, you can't do it. That's what stewardship is. If you work on Social Security, or if you're, whatever your situation is, and you cannot give the money, then don't. You just put a pledge down so you're a member of the church. It could be $100 a year, it could be whatever that amount is. It's always been that way. It's you and God, not you and me, or you and all the parish council. It has nothing to do with it. That's what stewardship is. So we have, of the highest donor, we have a $10,000 donor, usually. We have as little as $25 a year. We have some donors that are $25,000 a year, or $100 a year, and whatever. That's between them and the Lord. If you have money, if you have a whole bunch of money, and you give $25 or $100 for the whole year, that's your business, and it's none of our business. But that's the way stewardship works, and I think it works very, very well in this community because of who you are. It's because of who you are. So anyway, that's the stewardship report. It's about the same as every year. We're in 130, 134, 135 families. However, the way this Orange County is building up, and the way they're building over here, I expect many higher things to happen in this church. I expect many more Orthodox to come into the area, join the church, and be a part of our faith community. If there's any questions with stewardship, I'd be pleased to answer.
Yeah, Father? We usually get stewardship envelopes at this meeting. I take it they're not here. Are we going to get mailed or?
I always, stewardship envelopes, I always say if you want a packet for the year, we have packets.
No. I'm saying the envelopes. You
Printer's
now
broken.
for our pledges.
Oh, the pledges.
Printer's broken, you already understand.
Oh yeah, printer's broken, yeah.
The pledges, you have on cards.
Next week.
They're gonna go in the mail. The printer is broke, it's been broke for a while. We have an anonymous donor, again, it's about, our computer was not compatible with the printer that we want, because we have this printer that lasted for 30 years, literally 30 years. Anyway, so it broke down, and now we need a new printer, but we have to have a printer and a computer compatible. And that's coming, I hope, next week.
Get a color printer.
What?
Get a color printer.
I left my ears home.
Color.
Oh, yeah, we close, but I'm not sure, whatever comes in, comes in. So we can meet our requirements. Okay, any other questions of,
before the curtains were put up, the whole, inside here had to be painted, and John helped to orchestrate that, and we got free paint from Sherwin-Williams because our son, Dionisi, is friends with one of the managers there. So Sherwin-Williams donated the paint for in here. And Manny Scaludis painted it with his friend, not Manny.
Members and on behalf of members,
committee? What's your,
Okay. Yes, we have 5 openings on the parish council.
Can you take the
yeah,
mic?
take a mic. Your son will have to deliver.
We have 9 openings, not 5.
There's 5 openings on the parish. Yes, we have.
Speak into the mic.
Oh, we have 5 openings on the parish council for next year. I have gotten, some nominations, well, I want to nominate, I got people find and one.
Here.
Put the microphone closer. You can keep your mask on, just keep it closer to the mic.
We have five openings on the parish council coming up for 2022. And I have spoken with people that were interested in running and that want to help the church. I have 5 names. I have Cosmos Fitzpatrick.
Please stand up.
I have Carmen Demorales.
Please stand up.
Carmen Demolites. Valerie Lima. And Asma Panay. And Jacob Khalil. Do I have any other nominations?
There are a few more nominations.
Okay, in the articles of the rules and regulations, there also allows for nominations from the floor, which is what I'm going to do right now, okay? The nominations, if I can, all right? I'll give all the names, slate, and they've all been duly reviewed, seconded, and so forth. Gus Lambrou has accepted.
That is it.
Savas Karasaridis has accepted. George Mofetas, who Chris was in.
Now, don't they have to be present to
Yes,
accept?
they have to
No,
be present.
no, they do not.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
Yes,
It was
they do.
already checked out as a point of information with the president. Jacob is right, that you were in contact with. I don't want to be argumentative.
Keep going. What else do you have?
Yeah. George Mofetas, and Dino Mavros.
I accept.
And you've accepted.
You accept?
No,
You accept? Yes, I do.
all these people have accepted. There was, conversations between Chris.
Yes,
I'll turn this over to you.
George Morfetas, last minute he noticed that he needs to go out of state, and by email I sent him an email. Actually, in the email, you have in the past, George, you have in the past expressed interest in running for the new parish council next year. I know you will be away and won't be able to be in person at our General Assembly meeting this coming Sunday. If you're still interested in running, I would like to nominate you. Please reply to this email by saying, yes, I want to run and accept the nomination, or no, I don't want to run. I'm waiting your answer in hopes that you're still interested. Again, you make an excellent thing. He replied, and I can give you this, he replied, yes, I accept the nomination. And my reply back to the president at the time, good morning, Jacob. Thank you, George, for accepting. Due to his out-of-state traveling, George Morfetas won't be able to attend the General Assembly meeting this coming Sunday. I'm forwarding you emails of my nominations of George Morfetas, his acceptance of the nomination on the separate email. The 2 emails, they're right here.
My reply was, please print out the emails and bring them to the parish council. That's General Assembly.
All right, now wait a second now. We have 8 openings. We have to fill in last year's panel, and we have to fill in this year's panel. I don't know where the 5 openings came from.
Well, how many openings do you think we have?
5 openings
We have-
last year. I don't know.
Let me answer that. There are 2 that are coming off, they have gone beyond their 6 years, and they have to run again, and that's Jacob to Wheel, and that's Garcia, so they have to come off.
No, they
It's
don't
only
get
3 years, we don't do three
I
runs.
said, you're looking for the 5 nominees?
No, Catherine and, you meant Catherine and Tony. They're coming off because of.
Yeah, I didn't get to that yet. There are 2 that can run again, that's Jacob and Garcia.
Right.
Those who cannot run again, they've expired, they've already gone, they have to.
That's Tony and Kathy,
And that's
okay.
Catherine and Tony Vicos.
That's right.
And the other one was Christina, who was their sergeant, and she left, and then that was a vacancy. So that's the five openings at the parish council.
Yes, and then you have the group that was supposed to go over this year.
Who?
There's a group that's supposed to go out this year, she said.
I don't have enough for everybody.
By the way, excuse me. That's not official. Well, we don't know, that's not,
Excuse me?
that's not official. Whatever you hand, whatever you're handing
The right
out,
number of people.
Let's do it to the president, the vice council.
we're still on a nominee. Let her do that with you.
We have, the yellow group is up this year. That means Ramsey, Ann Sandor, and Tijuana can run again. This is what you guys do?
Now,
Pardon? This has been
wait,
in
wait,
print
wait,
since
wait,
2009.
wait.
2009, Barbara, I printed this.
Wait. There's a back and forth. There was an exception last year.
Right,
Okay, so we had to carry that council over.
right.
That doesn't mean that they did have another year, but even when they were supposed to go off, they did not go off.
Right.
So,
They have
we're
to go
carrying it
out.
as if that year did not go through. They're carrying it from the year before.
Right.
What you're saying here is that that they already started another year, we're going another year. That's not the way it's working. It's working out as if that this year was just from the year before and it was a carryover.
That's right, and those councilmen, those positions, the purple positions, now have 2 years left to go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but the yellow group also has to come up for re-election.
No, they don't.
Yes,
No, you're not doing it officially. You're doing what you want to do over there. Do it by yourself. That's not an official, that's not official.
yeah,
Official,
official, what's proper and what isn't proper.
yeah, what is proper is what we do in the parish council and how we handle it. That's what's proper. That's what's proper. If you want to
For
interpret it,
last year, but now you need to fill in the.
No, we do
It'll
not.
be next year, it'll be next year, we're not going back.
It's
We're
an
going forward.
extension from the year before. You cannot override the parish council.
I'm not overriding.
Yes, you are, because you're not following what we have determined from the beginning. So you're overriding it. This, I know you have this, but you're not interpreting it the way we are interpreting it.
I think you just need the clarification, basically. You make a good point. And how come these guys are not running again? It was determined that that's how we stayed in our position. Otherwise, me and Anastasia should have been gone last year.
Exactly.
So that's why. So we said everybody.
I'm not arguing with that, I don't disagree with that.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying, we're saying the same thing. It's just everybody got extended like a year for the people. So instead of having 10 million people leaving at the same time and losing continuity in the parish council, we believe it's in the best interest
So
of
you're
the
pushing
church.
everything a year ahead?
That's what basically we've done. Not everything. It's just the last one.
No, you're pushing everything, because now you're saying that that next group is not gonna come up this year. So everything is getting pushed a year.
You have next year. Yeah, if that's how it is. Yeah. because we need to ensure the church's continuity in here. We did not have General Assembly, we did not have election, we could not in good conscience find a way to get people in here like we're doing right now. And then, so that's where we are right now. So the high priority is the church's continuity, and not to lose everybody all at once. That's, in my opinion. I'm not the legal end all, but that's my.
Do you want to speak?
But anyway, wait a minute, before, excuse me. We're still on nomination. Unless we go off, are you going to talk about nominations?
Yes.
We're still on that subject.
Well, many of us, and I would have to say a big sorry that this parish never informed the parish, all of you, to what happened last year. Last year, the Archdiocese was involved in this process. And on our last meeting, parish council meeting, I have asked for a string of emails, communications to the Archdiocese to have copied on all of our, which we never get. In that, we had a directive from the Archdiocese how to proceed. And I believe there are more than 5 people into that directive, which, by the way, we never got the complete email, the complete communication back and forth with the Archdiocese. We had a directive from the Archbishop how to proceed this year. This year, yes.
No, I got Anna Sander on the phone because you said you requested some documents.
Yes.
That we never gave you. We gave you a lot of documents. She's working on the other documents. Okay.
All right, please provide it and we'll be fine.
No, I don't want you to say you requested documents that they were not provided to you. I don't want you to say that.
Yes, the complete email.
No, hold on.
The complete communication email from the beginning to the end to the Archdiocese.
Okay, this is everyone. This is Anna Sander. She's secretary of the parish council. She's an elected and newly appointed secretary of the parish council. She's been going back and forth, digging out in the minutes throughout whatever Chris used to raise, and she documented, and she gave us a whole huge list of documentation of where we are, what Chris said, what investigation was done, and so on and so forth. So now she's on the phone to address what Chris just said. He requested some information that was not provided for him. Go ahead, Ann.
Chris brought it up at the last meeting, these documents he wanted, and I showed him that he had them, and I was providing them at our next meeting. They were not on the agenda for the General Assembly. It was a discussion that had actually been put to rest in previous parish council meetings, but he brought it up again. I said I had the documents, and I would provide them at our next parish council meeting. They were not to be made available for this General Assembly because the parish council has not discussed them with Chris. And this is a repeated thing he keeps bringing up. He is not to be bringing things before the General Assembly without having reviewed them with the parish council, because then he's in violation of Article 28, Section 4 of the Parish Council Rules and Regulations, in which any grievances he might have to be discussed with the parish council first. And he has not done that. And so it's not that I did not provide them. He did not say that he needed them by General Assembly. I was providing them at our next parish council meeting. So no one is withholding information from him. He is operating on his own timeline and making up his own thing. That is inappropriate and intimation that I was supposed to provide these for today's meeting. This is not on the agenda.
She's the one who's been she's the one. Okay, thank you very much, Anna. So just stand by, please. I'm going to keep you on the speakerphone.
The chair, give a chance to respond. Give a chance to respond. Yes.
Yes, Anne, we are right on this topic, And I'm sure in that email coming, the directive actually coming from the Archdiocese, it had something to do with the nominations, which really now was very important. That information I asked last year, right after what we had done. I think it was right around January, and I wasn't. We didn't provide. Also, on top of that, I had asked the president of the council to inform the parish, to make a statement to the parish of what's going on, why we didn't have elections last year.
One second, now Tony's gonna jump in. Hold on.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a point. First of all, the chairperson of this General Assembly is Chris, and I'm asking to be recognized by you.
I recognize you. You should say.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to further point to clarification from Laura, who's always done a wonderful job. That's why our committee is one person, because you both done very well. It's supposed to be three, but historically you've done a wonderful job. The people that are now officially, their names are official nomination are, could you tell the rest of the assembly?
Sorry, we have Gus Lambros.
I'm sorry, are you making comments, Tony, or are you giving?
I'm asking a question.
Directions.
This is
I think we have the record of people that are on the committee. I think the thing I want to understand is, can Ann provide documentation of the 5 and the 9? And let's just end this
No,
right
that has
now.
nothing to do with the 5 of the 9, that's something else.
Okay, so then I think
I'm
Unless you have any
asking,
questions or comments.
yes.
I'm asking for a ruling from the chairperson
Yes,
of the
let's
General
read the
Assembly.
list. Let's read the list.
The list I have for nominations for this year are Gus Lambros, Douglas Karasarides, George Lopez, Dino Mavro, Douglas Fitzpatrick, Carmen Demaroli, Valerie Lolima, Asmasia Pugliani, and Jacob Little.
Okay, thank you. So these have been officially recognized as nominees for this upcoming election.
Not yet. Not yet.
Why not?
I'll take the mic.
Let's hear the first.
It is, and it always has been in this particular General Assembly, that when we nominate somebody, that nominee must be present. We have done this before. We've made one an exception, and I'll tell you why. Because we have made an exception. Not that I doubt what you did with George. As a matter of fact, I'm not against George. I think George is a great guy. He's been wonderful for the church and everything else. However, from being somebody that is all rules and regulations, everything is okay until it comes to an opposition to what you think. So, it's not that. We've never done it, and we should not do it again here. Why? Because I remember someone nominating somebody, and we went through the same thing here, and I said, did you ask that person to run? And that person said, yes, I did. And when I went to that person, I said, were you asked to be on the parish council? And the person said, no, nobody ever asked me. So it was a lie. The person was there and it was a lie. I'm not saying or suggesting that this is a lie. I'm not suggesting that. However, that's the way it is. And we could do it all the time. We could do that all the time. As a matter of fact, I just heard Kuzmas, he got up and he wanted to nominate, his sister, Evangelia. And she's not here, right? So she's not eligible. She's not, because she's not here. And that's the rules and regulations of it. If George, and again, I'm not against George in any way. If he wants to be on the committee, I would say, as a matter of fact, if there was a vacancy, I would suggest putting George on board. That's what I would do. So anyway, either we stay with our rules and regulations, or we get moments. No, he's not here. He's not here.
Stop, let's go.
Can I please raise a motion to
have a vote from the,
Change the bylaws.
Yes. I remember
Yes.
Manny and Peggy were not here, and we called them up and we asked them, and they said yes. You accepted that.
That's beyond me, I don't remember that at all. I never
You
remember.
don't remember that?
No, I don't.
It happened at a general assembly.
I don't remember that.
We're
We're not going by memory, we're going,
not consistent. That's the problem, we're not
see,
consistent.
we put a situation here. What are we doing with George now? We're putting him on the spot. He's gonna think he's being rejected. And what we're doing to George right now is doing something that,
I think you should let Chris run the meeting, Father.
I'm running the meeting.
Don't respect, Chris is running the meeting.
I think
Don't
we've got-
respect.
we've
Chris,
got-
take it
I'm
away.
speaking my piece. I'm up to speak. We're talking about the nomination. Did you speak? Yes, you did. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay.
So Chris,
No, I don't want to hear. Not here.
Chris, so George has Chris on the phone, has George on the phone.
George, can you please accept the nomination or not?
Go ahead.
Are you accepting the nomination? George,
Get the order in.
repeat, George.
Order.
Repeat, George. Yes,
No, order.
Okay, George accepts, I'm not sure if that's legal right now, so.
It's noted, and we will make
Right.
determination.
So
We have
again,
to-
I think we're getting a little packed here, I mean, calm the situation down. So right now, what we'll do is we'll put him on the list, they'll do the investigation, they'll determine if it's appropriate for the calling, we have that on record.
We have to do it now. We have to do it now. We have to determine now.
There we go. And what was that?
We can find out.
Right.
And I have it on, today is just the nomination. Okay, before the election, we can have that one clarified.
No, it won't be. How are we going to do that?
What was that?
By the way, this is not the way to run a meeting through our phones. We have a phone over there, we have a phone over here, we have this. Are we in order here?
We are in order.
No, we're not.
Okay, so now let's move on to election day in the committee.
No, we can't. We cannot move on until we resolve the situation. Somebody is nominated here in the General Assembly. Is it legal or not legal? We have never had it where it was legal. The person had to be present. Guzman just nominated his sister. She's not here. So she cannot be nominated. Do you understand? It's the same situation. He's nominating his sister.
Father. You did it before.
Well, let's stop. He's gonna be here in 30 minutes.
But the Lucas did it. You did it for George.
George is coming. George is coming. So let's move on. We'll revisit this in 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes.
Okay.
If George is here and he's nominated, then it's
George is in the
fine.
middle of the country.
Then it's fine.
Okay. So then we'll revisit this in 30 minutes. Let's move on to election day and committee. Thank you.
The Parish Council has determined that once the nominations are made, that we will have on election day, December 12th. However, we need at least 2 people to run the elections.
And make a nomination.
Nomination.
Okay, so do we need nominations for the 2 people?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm being recognized
Yes,
now.
yes.
Duly recognized.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, you called for a special order of business to accept nominations that were put on the floor as well as the ones that were nominated.
Well, that's part of the
Yeah.
problem.
That, I'm just throwing that as a point of information. Well, the chairperson has determined to move forward, and no one challenged that, so now we're on the election committee. You deserve respect. You're in charge. Okay, I have 3 nominations for the election committee. Trinity and people, these members have served in the past and they've served well. They're knowledgeable and they're people of integrity. Okay. Trinity Ayakos, you accept?
I accept.
Nikki Michalidis,
You
accept? And Christine Anagnostou. Okay. Those are the 3 nominations for the elections committee. And your job is to make sure that when the ballots are, I don't know how we're going to do the ballots, and mailing out, or you have to be here. It hasn't been determined. Other churches have done mail ballots because of, but in any event, it's, you're in.
Okay, that's it.
You're in charge of that.
I'd also like to nominate for the election committee Lauren Barrows.
Are there any other?
Anyone else interested in?
Are there any other nominations?
I would second the nomination for the 2 names.
Okay. So we have them second?
I second.
Seconded? Yes. Okay. So then I guess we have our team for December 12th.
I have a question.
Oh,
For the elections, you should have sent out absentee ballots out because too many people can't get it. It's too late to do that now?
No, they have to request it. You can only get you can only have a absentee ballot if that person requests it, and it comes from me.
Okay, where does it say anywhere that people could have requested an absentee ballot? If the people that aren't here don't know it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can request an absentee ballot, and it has to come through me, and I would mail it to the person who requests it.
Then what I would.
And then I have to get it back in the mail, and then I give it to you, like we've done every year.
Okay, then what I suggest, first of all, what we did last year was, the ballot should be given to us, don't leave them on the table. You sign your name, we get a list of the stewards that are eligible, and do you still have to be Orthodox to vote?
Yes.
As well as?
Yes, I
Okay.
have that, like I give it to you every year. I cross off the name, if there's a married couple.
Well, first of all, I'd like to request one list.
Yes,
Alphabetical, by last name, A through Z, but not 2. You do the $1,000 stewards and then you do the.
No, I put it in alphabetical order, I
You
understand.
just one list.
I understand that, I
That's fine.
remember that.
Then people come up and you sign next to your name and you are handed a ballot. This way we know the number of ballots.
Right.
Okay? Now, if we get absentee ballots, put them in a pile, do not open them.
Right.
Give them to us and we will open them at the election. And mark
Understood.
those off as
Those
absentee
ballots
ballots.
go in the box. I don't open the envelope. I do not open the envelope.
Okay,
It goes in a box.
okay.
And it's up to you to open it up and count.
Question number 2, did you ever find a free box?
Did I find a big box? You talking to me?
Yeah, the big box.
No, I did not find a big box.
Never found it? All
I
right.
don't know what I'm supposed to look for. but-
I have a little one, it's gonna be small, but it'll do. It was from a suggestion box, we can use this.
Okay.
we'll use that.
Whatever,
Okay?
if they all fit, that's fine.
Okay. President's report.
Oh, okay.
Police report, sorry, police report.
Okay, so,
You want to stay on? Yeah, sure, stay on. Hang up on you if you have to go. Thank you.
so again, nothing stays the same, everything changes, and we've been going through, we all know that. And I just want to let you know that I would say to all of you, one of the reasons I think we have such a wonderful parish, and there's always, of course, conflict and things like that. That's no matter where you're going, no matter what group or whatever it is. But I would say to you that I'm not going to be here forever. I'm going to be, who knows? And I would suggest to you to preserve and watch that you keep this church spiritual, without all this secularism creeping in. And that's what's happening. You want others that are creeping in, that have no concern about what's going on in that church. And that's not what we are guided by. We are guided by the church. And to keep it in such a way that even for years, and I've been criticized for it, but that's too bad. Again, let's put the pastries on the candle stand so people can see them. And the answer is no. No. Let's put all these signs up when we come into the church that we're going to have a dance, or we're going to have a festival, or we're going to have this. No, it doesn't belong in the church. You don't come to church so you can, so the first thing you see is a festival, or that there's food. You come to church and worship. You come in to light your candle, and light your candle, come into church, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. At least that's the way I see it. I'm your priest, and I will keep it that way as long as I'm here. And all these other things, where they're talking about signs and things like that, absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Not that they're not important, but you don't put it where we are in worship. It has its place. So I would just say, that whoever your next priest is, hopefully he keeps that. And the reason I say it is because I've seen churches get wrapped up in other things. And then we want it this way, or we want it that way. Has nothing to do with the faith. Nothing to do with the faith. It has to do with, well, we want whoever or whatever it is. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. You either keep the church spiritual, or you keep it in a way that it begins to decay and decline. Again, there are other suggestions. I would just say suggestions of putting the big, what do you call it, where we can have the festival in the front. Is that what we want people to know us as? The Greek festival people? And you'd rather block the church, the icon over there, or keep it where people run down this road and see here's the Greek gyro people? We're not gyro people. We are Orthodox Christians. That's who we are. And preserve it. Preserve it.
Greek Orthodox Christians.
Stop, it's not your time, stop, please.
No, not Greek Orthodox Christians. No, you're wrong. Yes, you're wrong.
That is big Orthodox. They never want to change.
Guys,
You are.
Chris, he needs to
belong to the Greek Orthodox.
Excuse me,
I know.
John, you can talk later.
Yeah, I see you know. I see that you know.
I should know, we built it.
Okay.
We know we built the Greek Orthodox Church, not an Orthodox Church. Me and John and his brothers and a couple other people. We built the Greek Orthodox Church, not an Orthodox.
Do not interrupt, please.
We didn't build a Palestinian or an Albanian church. We built a Greek Orthodox Church.
Do not interrupt, please.
Yes. Okay.
Must I go over this again? I will. Let me just explain it. Greek Orthodox Church means that we are, again, yes, by the Greek Archdiocese, we have the authority to have a church. But then again, and I said it before, the Roman Catholic Church call themselves Roman. That means that if everybody is in that church, is everybody a Roman?
No.
What about the Germans? What about the French? What about the Irish? What about all of those?
That's their business. We don't control the Irish or the Romans or anybody. We are Greek Orthodox.
So, I'm not denying that we're not Greek Orthodox. However, Greek means, like the Roman Church is a Roman Catholic Church, we are the Greek Orthodox Church, true, of which the Greek is a generic term that has been used.
No, you are a generic.
He's got the phone, guy. Come on, he's got the mic. Wait, we'll give you a chance to talk.
wait your turn.
You can speak when he finishes, please.
Just give them a little respect. Come on, you can have it. I'll have it after he's done, after you're done.
I'm telling you what the church says. I mean, if this is what the Greek Orthodox Church, the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese even proclaims. Albino Flores most especially, to be honest with you. And he recognizes, and he knows, because it's been, this is like in centuries. For 2,000 years, by the way, the Russians call themselves Greek Orthodox, Romania and everybody else. It was Palestinians, everybody, of course, absolutely. They all consider themselves the Greek Orthodox Church, and that's great. But when we came here to America, all these ethnic groups began to call themselves the Russians and the Romanians and the Palestinians and Jordanians and whoever it was. So here we have, does that mean that we all have to be Greek to be in this church?
No.
No. The Lord is not for every Christian and every Orthodox faith. But it is the Greek Orthodox Church.
I am not denying that. We happen to be in the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese. We have our authority to worship as we do with bishops in its proper order, and we are Greeks. As a church, we are Greeks. However, we have a Palestinian, a Jordanian, wherever we are. We have all these other people that are in this church with equal.
They are all welcome.
Oh, thank you for welcoming.
You're welcome.
They're not second-class citizens. They are not second-class citizens.
No, let's finish the speech and then we'll have.
Yeah, this is my. Am I speaking for myself?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes, if you want to interrupt.
The name of the religion is Greek Orthodox. The fact that some people do it in Russian, some people do it in Palestinian, the religion itself is Greek Orthodox. You mentioned yourself, Roman Catholic is the name of the religion. The fact that it's done in different languages is irrelevant. It's still the Roman Catholic religion.
But you told me
I know. The fact of the matter is that the religion is called Greek Orthodox. So nobody should be insulted. Certainly the Palestinians and the Serbians and the Jordanians.
They should be insulted the way
No, because the religion.
Okay, let me finish. I know. I understand. I understand where you come from. I know where you come from. So anyway, that's the way it is, and this is the kind of stuff that we keep out of here. That's the kind of stuff you keep out of here. Yeah, because again, we are equal together, no matter who we are. We have converts in here. We have many converts. We have more converts than people from Greece or wherever they are. And this is the church that we have now. Equal, not second class, as you suggest. Okay. So anyway, so I would just say to all of you, that you preserve the faith. If you don't preserve the faith, you are doomed. I know churches already that are somehow doomed. And if the priest lets this kind of stuff get away with itself, it'll take forever to get back. You're going to need a priest that's going to come in and come back, and he's going to have to fight to get the faith back to where it belongs. That's what it is. It's a matter of faith. It's not a matter of where we're going to have this, the festival and the dances and all this other stuff. And get groups together, little cliques, and they're cliques, that's what they are. These are cliques that try to take over so we can make it a Greek church. No, we are an Orthodox church where every one of us here are equal. Equal. As a matter of fact, I'm looking around the room, I see so many converts and others who are of other denominations. And that's who we are. We are equal. Equal. So that's my message to all of you.
Gus,
you can go first, Gus.
Give him the phone.
I'm sure everybody knows me, but I will tell you my name is
Gus, do you want the mic?
I can hear you. Thank you. My name is Constantine Lamu, and I'm one of the originals who started this church along with Nicky's father. Okay? Nicky's father was the vice president before the church, and I was the president while the church was built. I placed the cornerstone of that church with my hands, me and John Tariani. What I'm going to say is, this church started by a handful of faithful people, because Father Chris is talking about faith. Faithful people to the God, to Jesus Christ. Because we wanted our religion to be with us in our families. That's when we started. And this church, they have John Anagnostou and Alex Anagnostou. They would never be here, because nobody. When we had a meeting in the Chester Diner, and a couple of the contractors come in for the hear that we didn't have a penny in the account, they all walked out of the place. Alex Anagnostou and John come after, and he said, we're going to build it. And they stayed with us until the end. Until the end. They put the whole company, they left the building of homes and everything. So this church was built by a faithful handful of people. And by the Greeks. And when we built it, we said those doors that will never close to any religion that wanted to come and pray now. For years, we had here a Catholic priest from Goshen come in and enjoy the Easter with us, with his niece, a little girl, come in dressed as a Catholic priest and enjoy our Easter. We are Greek Orthodox Church. We're Greek, built by the Greeks for all the Orthodoxy. Okay? The church, by the way, Father Chris said that here is only religion. No. It's the Greek culture that we teach. Because if you know and you read a little bit deeper, you see that Greece, it would still be under the Turks if the priesthood, the monks, didn't get up with it and found. The monks taught the Greek language in a krifos in the basements of the houses, running at night, to keep up our Greek language for 400 years. For 400 years under the Turks. And the Greek language survived. Because of the priests, because of the monks, because of our religion. So when we say you don't put stickers on the wall, it's because you want to hide our culture. The date of March 25th, it's our liberation. After 400 years under the Turkish boat, we get up along with the priests and fought the Turks and throw them out. This is our life. We're not talking about anybody that wants to do something or pass an idea. The idea exists for thousands of years. That's who we are. That's what we're fighting for. And yes, the Greek festival, yes, it's about the culture. People coming to eat Greek food, not hamburgers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Father, and thank you very much. Very well spoken about the culture and the heritage that we carry in the Greek Orthodox Church, which Goa, the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese, supports. I want to say about something about this generic thing. Yes, the Roman Catholics, they call themselves Roman Catholics. Do you see an Italian flag into the Roman Catholic Church? No. We see the Greek Orthodox, we see the Greek flag there. Do you see the Roman Catholic Church does a Greek festival or a Roman or Italian festival per se in their churches? We do Greek festival. We have the Greek Orthodox flag in our church. And yes, we're different. The Greek Orthodox Church in America, it's very much different, Father Chris. very much different. The Greeks, I want to tell you that the Greeks in this country, they do carry the flags. Maybe in Greece, you're going to find, in Greece they probably don't have any flags in it. But in America, here in the States, we support this. There is a cohesion between the church and the Greek heritage. This is why the church and the archdiocese and the priests go first in the parade on the 5th of, because it's the liberation, as he said. We're the first after the Ottoman Empire to be free and express our religion freely. You know it very well, Father Chris, very well. You know the Reform Scholio. That brought us 400 years out of that, and here it is the first day of our liberation. Our liberation, we free expressed our religion, and we freely outside, we weren't in the catacombs anymore. We were up above. And these people, especially these two people, that they live into the fox's mouth, and their people, they can tell a lot of things.
I do not deny any of that. I come from a Greek Orthodox family. My parents came from Greece. I'm well aware of my culture, my tradition. I love it all. I love it all, and I speak for it. I've been accused of not liking, hating Greeks, a ridiculous statement, and other accusations. And I think most of you know where I'm coming from. It has nothing to do with my culture and my tradition and all that kind of thing. I'm talking about our church here in Middletown, New York. Holy Cross Church. Whose is it? It is all about, it's for all of us. Yes, I keep my traditions, you keep your own tradition if you like, which is quite fine. So it has nothing to do with either or. I love my church, I love my tradition, I love my heritage. And that's the way I see it.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Are you insulted? Are you insulted by coming to this church being called Greek Orthodox?
I'm not insulted because I will not lower myself to believe that this is only Greek Orthodox Church just for the Greek people. I will not lower myself to think that way.
Excuse me.
The Greek Orthodox, I've been Greek Orthodox, my family, for thousands of years. Our church was built in the 400, 400 to 600 in there. Much older than this country 10 times. That's my church in Gaza, in Palestine. The Greek Orthodox Church in there. It's not, I maintain my culture. The Palestinians, they maintain their culture. They're very proud people in there, but we are the Christians, we are Greek Orthodox Christians in there. If you want to practice your Greek culture, there's nothing wrong with that. We have the Goya, we have many things in here that you can practice your own culture in there. But we don't want to become a dinosaur and die. Okay, we are open. Father Chris in here, he can identify many converts in here. It's becoming maybe not as much as the Greek, national Greeks in there, or originally came from Greece, but it's very close. You don't want to deny these people the beauty of our religion.
We don't deny
okay, you don't want to say it's yours because you want to dance in Greek or have a gyro in here. That doesn't constitute the Greek Orthodox Church. Our bishop, he served, the one who's leading us, he served in Syria. Syria, an Arab country, where the Christians are. He spent decades, yes, he didn't tell them, go ahead, dance like us, eat our gyro. He didn't tell them that, this is only a culture thing. This is not a culture. I'm talking, right?
Yeah. But you're saying, we just say he's like
the church that you built in there, I'm forever indebted for you.
No, you don't.
Yes,
you should be.
Well, I am. Okay, don't ask me. Don't answer me. I'll give you the phone, the mic back. Okay. So I'm forever indebted for you guys who put this nucleus in there. But the church itself has tripled in size. Look around you. You were not part of the tripling in size. You were the original. Okay, I appreciate you. I take my hat off for you. Now this gentleman, this our priest in here, he generated this priest in here. He's to be credited more than anybody for building all this extreme addition and for the survival of the church. Okay, this man in here, hundreds, I mean literally more than $1 million it took to build this. I'm not denying your role or his role, but this is my church. I've been Greek Orthodox Church for thousands of years. Okay? I'm not here to dance in Greek. I'm not here to eat gyro. You can eat gyro. You can eat gyro. You can cook gyro. You can cook gyro. You can do anything you want. This is not a social club, sir. This is religious, spiritual, between me and my God. Don't deny me. We need to grow. We need to bring more people in here, rather than us old people dying. Because you and I are old people who are going to be dying. Okay? We need the young people to come up and carry this on their shoulders. Okay? You gotta stop with this nonsense. This is only Greek for the Greeks. I'm talking. Who's this guy? I'm talking. Hey! I am talking, guys. Have some respect, please, and some decorum here.
Get some order back here, please.
All right. So that's all I have to say, guys. Do not. I will never lower myself to have this discussion. Oh, you're welcome to come in here. Oh, why not? Yes, I've been in this church for thousands of years. Thank you.
We've had a lot of discussion. Let's move on. There's more comments to old business.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm sort of caught up in this whole thing. But I do want to say one thing. I don't like microphones. I do want to say one thing. This is our church. We all love this church. We love the parish council, Father, everybody who's come here. We have nothing against everybody's come here. However, we are Greek Orthodox Church. We do our festival, and people love it because they see our heritage. Yes, the Catholics do. They have San Gennaro festivals, the Irish do, everybody. And Greece has contributed to this country immeasurably. I hate to see all of this conflict. I really do. I don't like conflict. I want us to all get together. I watched Fiddler on the Roof yesterday. It was the most amazing. So let's just try to work together. What I wanted to say was, 2 years ago, today, Jacob, I asked a question about the sign. And Jacob said, talk to Father. And so, 2 years ago, I called a few sign places. Father and I met, and we met with a couple of sign people. And then what happened? Other holidays came, COVID came. Father was ill for a while, and it was very difficult to even get together to talk about this sign. I had been approached many times, and people were asking me, are we going to put Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church on the sign? My answer, yes. This is Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church. There is no question about it. It is not Holy Cross Orthodox Church. And that was my answer. And then this whole discussion here sort of centered around it. So just to finish, because I feel like I didn't fulfill what I was asked to do, and I really did try. But just to complete this 2-year odyssey as quickly as possible, I talked to 4 sign places. Okay, I was asked about an electronic sign. Stewart Signs, who was actually based in Florida, the state, which I thought we should deal with somebody here, but an electronic sign came to $13,701. D&M Signs, which is over in Middletown. Father, you actually connected me with them because they did the signs to say, welcome to the town of Walk Hill, etc., etc. D&M, they came here, they looked over the place, and they gave us a price of $8,250.
Electronic or just?
This was D&M signs, this is not electronic. The only electronic one was Stewart signs, because I thought that would be out. And my feeling was we could do a sign, and if we want to, we could put one of those small scrolling signs on the bottom or whatever if we want to later. Then Sonic sign, and this was a laminated sign. I have everything here. I'm going to leave a couple here if people want to look. Sonic came in at $3,400. They're all double-sided signs, very basic. One is a little more elaborate than the other. And then I went to Carmine with Father at Light Bright Sign. Now, Carmine has done a lot of work, from what I understand, here at the church. He came in with two prices. One was for the PVC sign would be $1,600, or the dimensional sign, which was D&M, at $7,500. And all of those signs are absolutely wonderful signs. They are.
How big are they?
They're 5 by 9. All right, this was from Carmine. 5 by 9, the dimensional sign was $7,550. Now, he said these prices do not include town fees or engineering. D&M signs came in at the $8,000 price, and they included everything, the installation, the permits, the whatever. His price was for everything. So, I have some here, different quotes. I'm going to leave. I only had a couple because I have my computer ran out. So I could. I think, Father, I gave you.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm just going to leave these here.
Okay.
Just 1, 2, 3, 4 packets, 5 packets.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, Chris. Comment on the sign or old business?
That gentleman.
Can I, and I think it will be pertaining to this, why you see these big numbers jump, it's the one is, include the big numbers, the big amount, include the monument around it, the build-up of the sign. The other one, the cheaper ones, doesn't have that. Remember, it's plain sign with 2 posts, okay? But the expensive one, it has all of the monument around it, like, say, town of Ocean, where you go in the monument, that's a clarification.
Anthony?
Yeah, I just have a question.
On the signs or old business?
No, well, the sign is an old business. On the question of the sign, and it concerns the decision-making ability, the decision-making responsibility for who's going to choose the sign. I believe that the parishioners, who are the heart and soul of this church, all of us together, we're all one in the body of Christ. I don't know why we're arguing. We should be bringing each other together, uniting under that concept. That at the next General Assembly or an assembly shortly thereafter, that the parishioners, who are the owners of this church, who are the shareholders of this church, should decide what sign will be picked. I'm making that as a suggestion.
Okay, the priest is going to respond to that.
Now, because let me just finish. I'm almost done. That be a topic for the next General Assembly. And by the way, there's 2 General Assemblies per year, at least 2. And if you can have more than that, if you have 15% of the parishioners, and we want to have a special General Assembly for a given topic, what have you. But the bottom line is that the parishioners should make the final decision for the sign that's going to be picked. And it also should be in English and Greek as well, Greek lettering as well.
Okay, let's hear the priest.
If I may, what he is saying, first of all, in a General Assembly, when we were building this church, it was given to me to build a church in the way that, with the people trusting me in how I did it. Everything that you see was the colors and everything else. When the dome went up, if we leave all these things to everybody else, we'd have absolute chaos. And look what we have here to discuss one other issue. That authority has been given to me from the very beginning to build this church and to do all the things that are in the building of this church. The sign has to be in proportion to the building. The color has a tremendous difference to what it is. And so that really falls on me, and it has from the beginning. So what he's suggesting, that we all get involved, and do you like the sign? Do you like that number? Are the letters big enough? Are they small enough? We would not, if we had a discussion for the signs, we'd be here forever. So that belongs to the priest, and it's always been to the priest. What we do downstairs, that was up to the priest. Yes, through the engineer, through the architect. This was designed, it's not a bragging motion. I'm not bragging about anything. I never bragged about anything in this church. But it has to be the way it is. If you don't like something outside, color of the roof and all the other things, that's fine. But that all came from one person, and that's the way it should be. Keep it that way. When I'm gone, do it what you like. Now you can do it. You want all the people to do it and make the decisions, but that still belongs to me, and I'll just break that.
Joseph, quickly.
That gentleman there, did he want to say something? No, that's old man. No worries.
Back in nomination.
No. I agree, somebody give the authority, the community give the authority to Father Priest to build something, to build an extension, a hall on the church. The church he was built. He didn't get authority to build the church. So let's keep that clear. You got the authority to build a hall, an extension to the church. Okay? Second, you can
Before you continue, may I? Were you in church when I was speaking to the children? Were you in church today when I was speaking to the children?
Of course I was in church.
Did you hear me say that the church was built by the community here? The first part of the church? Did you hear me say?
You just said that you were given the authority to build a church.
Well, okay, all right, beyond what I had, yes, okay.
That's what I'm thinking of, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm thinking of what you said, not what you said.
Okay, no. I already spoke and I already...
The other thing is, let me finish. Right now, I'm not fighting with you. I'm just kind of correcting you a little bit.
Yeah.
All right? Second, when that sign is changed, they give you want to change the sign. Change the size, the color, and that, but not the name. You cannot change that name. The sign, whatever is built, it should say Greek Orthodox Church, Holy Cross. Thank you.
It's not going to change.
Nobody can ever change this name of the church.
But the sign looks like a dump outside.
No,
we don't do nothing. They put the money now on the cross side. I agree.
Here is the issue.
I want to collect money.
Here is the issue. Yes, we listened to you. Here is the issue. People, for whatever reasons they wanted, misconstrued the whole story rather than going to the source and finding the facts. And that's the big issue. Maybe someone in passing might have said, name it Holy Cross Church, but in the end, as Trini has said and documented, it will say Greek. So there's no other reason why we've got to continue and fight over nothing that's irrelevant. And that's what it's come down to. All this hatred by a misconstrued story that has been twisted to make the board, to make the priest look like the bad person, rather than looking at the person who's twisting the story. That was never an issue, it was never brought to the table, and it will never be changed, the name of the church, and that remains. So let's let all these demons lie, and let's just move forward so this church can progress.
Let's collect money and build that sign now. Take it out of there.
Exactly. So put all your efforts into fundraising versus fighting on untruth stories that have been created. It's nonsense. You gotta laugh at this. church a Greek Orthodox church. It's nonsense. So go after the person that is misconstruing, twisting these stories, causing chaos, and say enough is enough, and let's move forward for the benefit of this church.
So, as the president of the AHEPA, I'm vouching that I'm going to work to collect money, to raise money, to replace that sign.
Thank you for that positive.
Just a quick comment, because I'm the wife of the person who evidently is misconstruing the story. But this is not a story. I mean, someone approached Trini to ask if the Greek could be taken out of the sign.
Okay.
So
Was that his name, yes?
So you had your say, I'm going to have a line now. So to say that he's misinforming the church or misconstruing a story is not right. He's not telling lies. Somebody did approach Trini and asked to take the Greek out of the sign. So I don't, yes, it can't be changed. It can't be changed. But somebody did that. Somebody in this church did that. My husband's telling lies.
The problem is at the meetings, it was brought to us and told as if it was a fact. That now we are going to create a sign that does not include Greek. That's the misconstruction. Rather than going to the source, we never even entertained the idea of removing the name. Apparently somebody did, other than the board.
Okay.
That's the issue.
But it's not a lie. He's not telling a lie.
I'm not saying no lie, but
You just said it. You just said he's lying. He's twisting the story.
he is twisting the story because he's making it as a fact like we are going to do it. And it never was even entertained.
Never.
You can say you want the sign purple.
Stop.
Hold on, let me finish. You can say that you want it purple with black and white stripes. Does that mean we're going to do it? No. So why cause chaos over that? Find out your facts, find out what the sign will be, and once you determine then you have the right to start chaos. That's the problem. Rather than going to the source, they whistle their own tune and go to their own tune and cause problems. That's the issue.
Chris, I make a motion, we end the meeting. It's over 2 hours now, and now it's just getting into arguments. So I make a motion, we end the meeting.
Let's finish the.
Okay, so stop. Let's stop. I think we all agree that the sign is not changing, the name is not changing. Something may have happened that was misconstrued, and we have to get past that and move on. So can we agree to do that?
Mr. Chair, can I be recognized?
30 seconds, Andrew. 30 seconds, very quick.
The nature of the sign assumed major proportion and seriousness when a posting from the Orthodox Church of America was found in the church, within the church. Orthodox Church of America, which is a renegade, I would say, organization that wants to do away with Greek, Ukrainian, Romanian, whatever. So there is someone, in fact, or group of people that believe that this church should just be Orthodox. That's what made the issue of the sign as important as it is.
Right, so the sign's not changing, so let's try to move on.
That's as a background.
A quick question. I should have asked this before, and I apologize. It just came to me. When we vote, how many people are we voting for? 5?
We don't know yet. 5.
We don't really
know yet. We don't really know yet.
5. If George is not here, George has to be here before the end of this meeting. So that's okay.
Let's move on to new business.
Can I?
Quick, Elias. Quick.
Under new business?
Under new business? Yes.
Under new business, can I have that?
So try to be quick. I have several things, and referring to what Aspasia said, well, and I would like to say that culture, heritage, everything. None of you have seen this, as every year we put it in a few places in this hall, not in the church, in this hall. Please, Father, don't laugh on this thing. It's a serious matter.
It's funny. But go ahead.
Can you please, Father?
Yes, go ahead.
This sign was, this sign is the Greek Independence Day Parade poster.
Chris, the board has informed me that they discussed with you in private meetings and it's already been discussed.
No. The parish knows nothing about the Greek Independence Day Parade, and we come in next year, we're gonna have one. And so, let me go through. Has taken this Greek Independence Day Parade poster was taken down twice on
It's out of order. It's just not.
Can you wrap this up in about 30 seconds? Just a quick overview. It's
This is very important to our parish. Very offended by it, and the parish council choose to neglect it. Okay. This Greek Independence Day poster was taken down twice on two consecutive Sundays before COVID hit last month. Therefore, our Midtown New York community was not informed of the event. To the parishioner who took the Greek Independence Day Parade poster down, please come forward and explain why did you take the poster down. Due to this incident at the PC meeting, a motion was raised. I have to finish. A motion was raised. It's not a new business. I'm asking for a person. I am asking for a person to come forward to tell us who is that person. Well, 40 of our people come forward, and 40 of our people. Can you please take your No, I'm not. It is a new business. I'm asking for the person who did you? Who took this off? Who took it off? We wanna know.
There are rules and regulations that every sign that goes up in this church must be presented to the priest and approved.
I want to ask the priest. I want to ask for the priest. I do want to ask for the priest. If we have his approval to post this poster.
Discuss it in every single meeting this year, and he still continues. I said regulations to follow, and you do whatever you want and go against everybody. Enough. Sit down and you've heard enough.
All the time like this, we have each meeting like this. What one person? We discussed it all the time. I know you are. We can't finish this meeting like this. There's no use.
Everyone, enough. Let's go to closing prayer.
There we go. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.